Impossible, see the invisible. Row, row, fight the power. Touch the untouchable, break the unbreakable. Row, row, fight the power. What you gonna do is what you wanna do. Just break the rule, then you see the truth. You see the beat and the cheat, baby. Row, row, fight the power.
Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Cartoon Chatterbox. Yoda Jax decided to sit this one out, but we're doing anime night tonight. One of my goals for Cartoon Chatbox was to get us to watch at least one anime. I'm joined again by Nick and Carrick.
Who the hell do you think I am? Well, I'll tell you who I am. I'm Irish Husky, creator of Mouse Madness and the spin-off series Pixar Panic, and now Cartoon Chatterbox.
Right. You understood the assignment.
Yes, I did.
Right. The winner of the poll was Gurren Lagann, and I kind of like that one because it's a good starter anime. It's got a lot of the ideas, it's okay for casual conversation, it's not that long, and it doesn't take itself too seriously, so it's good to get into.
It does have a touch of fan service, but not as much as other anime do.
It's not as bad, it's nothing worse than you'd see in a typical episode of Family Guy.
Yeah.
True. Maybe a little more in your face than Family Guy, though.
Right.
Sometimes
a lot
quite
more,
literally.
a lot more fluid for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm just imagining like a scene where like Kamina punches Simone in the face, and he just does the classic Family Guy fall down pose.
That's right.
Well, since it's anime, it would probably be the Yamcha fall down pose.
Right. Yeah, but this one's from the very expressive, very crazy studio Gainax I was thinking of. I kept wanting to say Trigger, but no, I'm like, the Gainax people left to make Trigger.
Yeah, you could definitely tell that this was made by the same people who are known for stuff like Kill la Kill and Darling in the Franxx, like and Little Witch Academia. It's got that very same expressive, over-the-top, like action-packed animation that we know of them, and this is where a lot of it started.
Yeah, but again, this one's very silly, but it does still follow a pretty concise formula. It's about it's the hero's journey plot. It's about rising up and becoming something greater than yourself.
I know a lot of people talk about the whole, like, the real treasure was, like, the friends we made along the way, but this anime is probably the ultimate, friendship power will help us solve everything. Like, it is probably the epitome of that. It just unabashedly rolls with that formula, and I kind of love it for that.
Right. There's a reason. Yeah, there's a reason that I picked this one when I was getting back into anime at the end of high school. I'd heard a little bit about it, so I was thinking of just taking my time and watching all of the big ones. I watched Bebop, and then I think I watched this one after Bebop.
Yeah, for a while, I thought Bebop was going to be the one that we started with when we did an anime episode.
Well, they both star Steve Bloom, doing very different voices.
That's true. He's more versatile than I thought. Like, I didn't even recognize him as Leron.
Is that in the dubbed version?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, because I only watched an episode and a half of the dubbed version before switching to subs.
I see.
For Gurren Lagann?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
The sub versus dub thing's kind of outdated now, but I will say Gurren Lagann's one of the better dubs I've seen.
Unless it's highly recommended to me, my general go-to is the dub because it helps a lot being able to study what professionals do in my field. So I take a bit of inspiration from that. You know?
That's true. I think I found that by watching the sub, I was like forced more to pay attention to the screen since I'm actually reading what's actually being said. And, when I'm forced to pay attention, I can pick up a lot on what else is going on instead of kind of just drifting in and out of focus.
Right. That's pretty nice. For me, it depends on what I start with. And I think because it was on the Funimation YouTube at the time, I think I started with the dub. So
yeah.
It just kind of brings...
Honestly, I can't really throw my hat in the ring in either direction because I don't know if you know this deep dark secret about me, but I'm not really that into anime.
No, we kind of figured that.
Yeah.
But
You're not an anime guy.
but that's why we chose a popular one.
Exactly. Like, a brief rundown of my history of anime is when I was like 6 or 7, I would occasionally watch episodes of the Pokemon dub because it was airing on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
I was
And-
obsessed with the Pokemon anime back then.
And then I kind of fell out of it once I got into 2nd grade. No real reason, just found other things to watch. And then I never watched anime again until this. Unless you want to count Avatar, which I don't.
You saw Spirited Away last year, didn't you?
Yeah, but that was kind of a one-off thing.
Yeah, and that's also a movie anime. That's different.
Yeah,
Right.
we're talking specifically anime series.
Right. Right.
And
But
even though Avatar and Ruby, that kind of stuff takes inspiration from anime, it doesn't really count.
it's made in America. It's like champagne. It's got to be a specific vintage.
And like, yeah, sure, they outsource the animation, but that doesn't count either.
Japan outsources animation too.
Like, I've
But-
heard people make that argument before, and I do not understand that logic.
Right. But anyway, yeah, I had some fun with this, and I actually went in unspoiled. So episode 8, of course, caught me off guard.
Yeah. I went in for the most part pretty unspoiled too, from what I can like. I definitely got some. So should we go ahead and put up the spoiler warning now?
Yeah, but again, it's like 13, 14 years old. So, but
Right.
yeah.
And
spoilers,
honestly, people who like probably haven't seen this anime probably don't watch much anime to begin with. If what you're telling me is that this is a pretty popular one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of got a few red flags. I'll say, like, surrounding Kamina's character. And
Foreshadowing.
yeah, it definitely felt like there was gonna be something crazy that was gonna happen that would, lead to more of Simone's character development, because up to this point, Kamina has been his only real source of, I guess, strength and courage. But now when you take that away, what happens? And
Right.
it's very dramatic stuff.
Right.
on
I mean,
display there.
that's just kind of standard for the hero's journey type story.
Yeah.
The one thing I wasn't expecting was for Kamina's death to happen so early in the show.
And if
Like,
Wait,
when I saw, like, I read the plot synopsis on Netflix, or like the little blurb that said
Yeah.
they lose someone in a Team Gurren.
Yeah.
I thought it might have been Kitan. I think he had come back at that point.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be someone, as important as Kamina that early. So when that episode ended, I'm just like, you can't end it like this. This wasn't supposed to happen.
Yep, that's what I was like. No, it's too soon. If you're gonna kill him off, make it more towards the midpoint. We're not even at the halfway mark yet.
And if I'm being honest, as much of a surprise as that was, I kind of feel like they blew the load too early with that, because up to that
Giggity.
point, Kamina had been such an enjoyable character, and I feel like they killed him a bit too soon, in my opinion. I would have preferred if they had saved that a little bit later, because he was just too entertaining to get rid of that soon.
He has the
Right.
catchphrases.
And he's voiced by Kylie Bear, and he gives such a inspirational vibe. Like, literally stares down the face of danger every single time. He just doesn't care. It's like everyone needs a bro like Kamina in their life, man.
Yeah,
Right.
he's like the ultimate motivational speaker.
Exactly. I mean, the whole womanizing thing I could do without, but they make it
Right.
clear that they don't take that part way too seriously, and Yoko's always really quick to clap back.
Yeah,
Also, to be fair, he kind of spent his entire life underground too, and he hadn't really been exposed to that kind of thing.
you
That's
probably
true.
never even seen a female before, at least not one like that.
Right,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he talks about like the whole pinnacle of masculinity thing. So it's like they know what they're doing. The writers know what they're doing, and they know not to go, too far with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And also this one displays a trope in anime that's pretty interesting. The defeat equals friendship. It's not something you see a lot in Western media, at least not at the time. They do it a little more now. But it goes by a lot of the encounters and a lot of people they face down, like Kitan, who started off as enemies, later joined the team.
Right.
Yeah, it's a
And of
it's
course,
like
Viral becomes a friend by the middle of the second arc.
Yeah.
Viral might be one of my favorite characters in this because of the insane amount of development he goes through. Like from like staunch loyalty at the very beginning, like just like taking a beating from one of the generals and not even retaliating at all, to the very end, like fighting alongside Simone inside the ships, and he, since he lives forever, he's gonna like live on to like keep telling the story of Team Daiguran.
Right. And you'll see a lot of these, and the progression is pretty natural. It doesn't feel like a rushed redemption. It feels like more like forged in fire combat. Like
Right.
the circumstances make them that
Right,
they have to.
because there's a point. After the time skip where Simone and Viral are in the same prison, and then they're both put into solitary right next to each other.
Yeah.
That
So
prison-
they're clearly
that prison-
not on friendly terms right
That
away.
prison fight, by the way, was really funny. Like that one guy that kept trying to butt in but kept getting beaten up.
Yeah.
And I think so. We were talking about him fighting alongside him in the ships. One of my complaints about the overall story is the ships themselves. By the end, I got really confused and had a lot of trouble keeping up with all of the names and different forms and fusions. Like, it was too much for me to memorize. I felt like I needed to write it down and study for homework. I still don't even know what the like final form is called. There's just too many
Tengen
words.
Toppa, I think the final form is the name of the show.
Oh, really?
Tengen Toppa, I'm pretty sure. The one that's as big as a galaxy.
Yeah, but still, like, there's a lot for me to keep up with, and it makes my head hurt.
Yeah, that's something I noticed, is that, like, especially after the time skip, like the threats and the gunmen, they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm reminded of this one post on Tumblr where it's like, the thing about Supernatural is, like, there's no cap on the villains. Like, at one point they're fighting the literal devil, and later on in the show it's like, oh, here's the devil's even more evil and powerful brother, and one of the responses is like, that's literally what happens in the show.
Yeah. And it's kind of what happens here. The guy they face isn't the devil, but he might as well be.
Right. Like, first it's the literal moon, taking a page out of freaking Majora's Mask of all things.
Yeah.
And then it's the whole galaxy, and then it's the multiverse.
Yep, the whole thing it's the concept of antimatter itself, which is something not even physicists are sure of.
It reminds me of that Game Grumps bit where they're in Zelda's room in Ocarina of Time, and she's like talking about Ganon. And he wants to take over Hyrule. No, the entire world. No, the entire universe. No, the entire multiverse. No. It just keeps getting higher and higher.
But yeah, it's just so crazy, and it's all done so funnily. You can't help but be along for the ride. It's like, okay, I was able to buy this and this, so let's just go all out now.
Yeah, by the time it got to that whole multiverse thing, I'm just like, why not? Why the hell not?
It makes
It's
me
like-
glad that this show lasted as long as it did, because I don't see where they could have gone from there.
Right, and also a funny thing that kind of reminds me of it, a lot of anime are adapted from manga, This one wasn't. The manga came out later, so they were just flying by the seat of their pants.
Really?
Yeah, so unlike things like Full Metal Alchemist, where it was following the manga, but halfway through they kind of had to make up their own stuff, this one was just a completely original story.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of stuff that these employees work on is original stuff. Like Kill la Kill is a completely original story.
And I think as of recently, BNA was an original too. The manga for that came out later.
Yeah. I find it interesting that there always has to be at least some anime manga through line. It doesn't matter which came first. It has to exist. Same thing happened with Dragon Ball Super, because the anime came out, then the manga happened, but now the manga's still going, but the anime ended.
Yeah, but this one didn't have to work on a crunch. It ran for one season of 28, I think, 27 episodes,
27.
not counting the clip show, and not because it was canceled. That's just how most anime rolls.
Yeah. It ran from... This is funny. The premiere date in Japan was April 1st.
Really?
Man.
And it ran from then to September 30th.
Yeah. Short and sweet.
But yeah, a lot of disbelief, suspension disbelief here, including the freaking Buta turning into a human and then that never getting addressed afterwards.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
You remember when that happened? No,
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Right. It was just random for random's sake. But I follow the Emperor's New Groove mantra. Don't question it. It's a cartoon.
Like, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I just follow that mantra for a lot of things now.
I mean, this is the same creature that can rip off its tail and I guess grow that back.
Lizards do that.
Didn't he feed his tail to Simone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also Kamina, and afterwards Kamina was like, "Hey, that meat was really good. Do you know where we get some more of it?" And Simone was like, I don't know what you're talking about."
Yep.
It's a constant running joke of Buta not wanting to get eaten by Kamina.
Right.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite aspects of I guess the animation is just the concept of how the different gunmen combine. Like, there's no built-in form fitting. You just shove one of them into the other. Like,
Yeah.
I keep thinking whenever Lagann gets stabbed into Gurren, like, how the heck does Kamina manage to avoid getting stabbed every single time?
He's got very good reflexes.
True.
Yep.
I'll never get over the first moment when they're like, everyone's like, combine, they're gonna combine. He just like haphazardly rams him into his head, and that's it.
Yeah, it's not like other anime where there's a form and formula to it. It's like when Voltron forms, it's like a friggin' ballet, because they've got to be the specific lion to the specific appendage.
That's why Kamina was so hard on Simone with the training, because in order for the combining to work, there's gotta be passion. There's gotta be
There's gotta be soul.
Yeah, exactly. That's how a lot of the day is won in this show, having a lot of willpower.
Yeah.
Friendship.
Friendship is magic.
Yeah. Now we're gonna blast you away with our friendship.
Yeah, friendship cannon.
More like a friendship giant freaking drill.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
The drill. Spiral's kind of a thing. I thought you'd go for that, Nick. You'd be thinking of the Fibonacci spiral.
Yeah, true.
That's the true spiral power.
Absolutely. That's the golden spiral.
Yeah.
Now, I find most of the characters I find very entertaining. I find the performances all entertaining. Liron included, but I wonder if you'd be able to get away with a character like Liron nowadays.
He's basically Quagmire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a gay Quagmire.
Yeah. I think it's over-exaggerated enough, probably, that people wouldn't care too much.
Right.
Yeah,
And of
I
course-
see Liron, and keep in mind, I watched the sub, but I just imagine his English voice being that guy from the new Icebreakers commercials. You know, Icebreakers, ooh, fancy.
It's something like that. You know Jasper, Brian's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically that voice.
Okay.
Yeah, but they have that, and also you gotta remember other culture. Japan has different attitudes towards this sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think what makes it like more tolerable is the fact that, you know, despite the obvious flamboyant mannerisms, he's still very much an integral part of the team. Possibly the most integral part of the team.
Without question. Beyond just being entertaining comic relief every now and then, they wouldn't be able to they'd be like working with their thumbs up their butts most of the time without his engineering skills.
Right.
Right.
What do you guys think of Nia?
She's neat. Did not expect that. Did not expect that twist at the beginning of the time skip.
Yeah, that actually did catch me off guard. That whole situation. But one like little nitpicky thing I have with Nia, and keep in mind I watched the English dub, so Nick, basically in English, before the time skip, Nia was voiced by Hynden Welch, and this is like one of her very few anime roles. You guys will probably know her as Starfire or Princess Bubblegum. And after the time skip, she was voiced by Bridget Hoffman. And I don't understand why they did this, because every character kept their voice actor after the time skip, but not Nia for some reason, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, and if every other actor changed, if every other actor kept their voice, you can't use the aged up excuse.
Yeah, it's not like Hynden Welch was a little girl at the time of the recording. I would have understood it more by that logic. And it's not like she's incapable of doing an adult voice. So it bothered me because it's like this is one of the few times we get to see her in an anime role, and she only gets to be in half of the show. So it disappointed me.
I honestly, I kind of didn't notice that even in the dub. I felt like the replacement did a pretty good job, but I totally see your nitpicks.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's nice and cute, and I kind of also felt sad at the very end where she evaporated.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of Samurai Jack vibes there.
Right.
Yeah,
this came out first.
I mean, that was just a tragic ending all
Yeah,
around.
And unlike
kind
Samurai
of-
Jack, Simon was like totally accepting of it too. Like he knew it was gonna happen.
We'll get to that when we do the Samurai Jack episode down the road.
Oh, I guess we might have to.
Right. But
Yeah, so nothing against the actress. Is just Hynden has such a distinct voice. Like when I first heard her talk, I was taken aback very much.
Right. Speaking of Nia, one of my favorite episodes, I think it was called "Eat Up Everyone."
Yeah.
Like she wants to become, you know, more valuable to Simone, so she decides to cook for him because, you know, he's kind of been neglecting eating, and he needs his strength, obviously. And then you love how, like, throughout that episode, I think it was Rosyu who was sick for most of it. Liron and Yoko thought it was some kind of psychological effect from the previous episode. And then we find out that it was food poisoning because Nia can't cook for crap.
lethal
And
shot.
then just the look of horror on their face as they realize that Simone's gonna eat that food, having not eaten anything in days, and he just wolfs it all down. That was
I found
hilarious.
that-
That had me rolling.
I found that moment to also be very wholesome too, because when he was eating all that, I was like thinking to myself, "Aw, they're totally meant for each other."
Yeah. Right.
And you feel so bad for them too, because like they don't want to tell her how bad their cooking is, because they know how like hard she worked on it, and and she's like too like sweet to like break her heart with that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, very very funny situation there.
Yeah, even though this show is pretty funny and kind of a campy personal show, it still has those little character moments that make it worthwhile.
Yeah, I also like after the time skip, after Simone proposes to Nia, and she turns him down because her literal mind like thinks that what Simone is promising is literally impossible. Like she just doesn't pick up on that subtext.
Yeah. During the rewatch, I had to pause the video. I was laughing so hard. Yeah, she's like, "Will you marry me?" No way!
All right. So, what are you guys' thoughts on Rosyu as a character? I'm not quite sure how to feel about him, honestly.
I found like the final episode that centered around him to be like very powerful stuff, because like up to that point I was very concerned about the direction they were taking him in, just like being completely heartless, just like not giving a damn about all the stuff that he and Simone had been through, and like throwing him under the bus. But I really did appreciate with that final episode centering around him that it gave more perspective into his headspace, and like we actually see how he was reacting to putting Simone in jail afterwards, like him breaking down in hysterics, like from
everything good.
Yeah.
I heard a breaking noise.
Sorry. So what did I miss?
The gigantic mecha fight that happened outside my apartment. It was pretty cool. I probably should have told you about that earlier.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny with mecha anime because no two mecha are alike.
But yeah, I appreciated that scene giving context to his headspace, and that it's not like Simone was completely dead to him or anything like that. And it was also a good moment of showing how far Simone had come, because he sort of took on Kamina's role when he punched some sense into Horacio in that moment. So
I think that was almost completely a direct parallel to episode 8.
Yeah, exactly.
And this time, no one dies.
Yeah, that's part of the Simone's arc. That's how he grows up and eventually visually resembles Kamina. He's got to carry on the path, but also find his own way.
Right.
Yeah, that's why Nia is such an important character to the cast, because she came directly after Kamina had died, and so she was the only one that could provide some sort of perspective for Simone as someone who never actually knew Kamina. And without her, he wouldn't have thought to himself that he needs to take his own path. He can't just be a replica of Kamina.
Right.
And that is a very important message for people to learn. And they even do that exact same message in Megamind. Have you guys seen the short based on the aftermath of Megamind?
Yeah, I think I did.
I haven't seen that.
It came out like 9 years ago, and yet for some reason YouTube recommended it to me. and basically Megamind has a garage sale to sell all of his evil stuff, and tries to defend the city like with a suit based on Metro Man, but he eventually learns that he's got to defend the city his own Megamind way. And so it's very, very much like what we got here.
Right.
It's pretty funny. I recommend it.
Yeah, you go be the Simone that we believe in and stuff like that. Stuff that doesn't make sense logically but sounds good.
Yeah, if this was, it's at this part where the villains should be like, These powers make literally no sense. I've been planning for this for decades. How did you do this? I guess you just underestimated the power of, don't you say it, friendship. No!
Oh yeah.
It's so corny, but so wholesome and so powerful.
Yeah.
There's also like that meme of Tom and Jerry where it's like Jerry and it says text anime villain that has been training his entire life for like 70 years or something, and then it's Tom like peeking around a corner all buff and muscular anime hero that believes in the power of friendship.
Yes, this is a very common trope, and I can see why this won, because it's a good starter, and it gives you the primal of this, but also it's funny.
Right. And speaking of funny, one of my favorite side characters is Artenborough, the trigger
yeah.
gun man.
Yeah, Art and Bro.
I love his voice actor so much. That's for those who don't know, that's Derek Stephen Prince. He voiced Fuyuhiko in Danganronpa 2. So DR fans, you'll probably recognize his voice immediately. It's just a very much exaggerated version of that, and every time he freaking goes off, and everyone's like, "Dude, not yet." Good way to recover.
Yeah, I just love how he's like hitting the trigger button so many times with such force. Logically, you should only hit it once, maybe twice, but it's just the attitude and the passion he has for weaponry.
Yeah, and a lot of that does come down to Gainax's ethos of being as over the top and creative as possible. Like, this is much more vibrantly animated than a lot of traditional anime, or as the stereotype goes. They put in a lot of effort to poses, action scenes, and coloring.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite scenes artistically was when Kamina saw a human skull for the first time, and the very it was like nothing but red primary colors, and you get an intense feeling like this is his first time like being introduced to the idea of death, really, and it's what motivates him to like fight even harder. And then afterwards you find out it's his dad, and that makes it even more heartbreaking.
Oh dear, what a tweet! Yep.
Remember?
Yeah.
I do remember. Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you guys.
Yeah, it
I
sounded
do.
like you cut off for a little bit.
Oh my.
No,
But
what was it?
like the art in that scene, it almost felt like something out of like a music video from the 80s, like very like a hardcore like a rock aesthetic going on
Right.
there.
Speaking of
Yeah,
80s
yeah.
music, speaking of 80s music videos, one artistic aesthetic that I like in this anime is that, you know, whenever a character dies, the animation switches to like pencil art, almost in the style of the Take On Me video.
Yeah,
that's
it's
right,
very
Take On Me.
neat stuff.
But also the music for this show, that's a big selling point. I remember I shared on Twitter that the first ending theme is a banger.
Yeah, this is one of those shows where, like, a lot of times when I'm watching a show on Netflix or other streaming sites, I'll tend to skip the intro unless it's an absolute banger. And this was an absolute banger, both the intro and the outros.
Yeah.
I will say, even though I always make sure to check out the deals for every time there's a new intro, if I'm in a hurry, I will have to skip a bit, because anime has a lot longer intros than Western cartoons. Like,
That's where the budget goes.
I think, you know what, I'm inclined to believe that's why so many people call Ruby anime, because all of those intros are at least 90 seconds long.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it gets you rhymed, you get all the characters, you get a lot of the action.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I like how they, like, I think it's the last episode before the time skip, where one of the songs they use becomes the new like the new commercial break sting in after the time stick. Row, fight the power.
I warned you about that during our Rolling Stone podcast.
Yeah, because I couldn't stop thinking about that since we spent a good 3 or 4 minutes talking about "Fight the Power" by Public Enemy.
Yep.
Whenever I hear "Fight the Power," all I can think of is the climax to "Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs."
Oh man.
I never saw that movie. Did they play the Public Enemy song in that movie?
Well, basically what happened was they're supposed to defeat the AI like with a USB, or I forget what it was, like basically some kind of virus, and his dad was supposed to send it to him, but because his dad is terrible with computers, instead of sending the correct virus, it just like he accidentally sent a music video of like a cat that was singing like "Fight the Power," and it sounds like, "Ah, dang it, Dad!"
So yeah, it's a memed version of the song.
That sounds hilarious.
Yeah, but yeah, you'll never be able to hear it the same way again.
I'm fine with that. And by the way, the commercial sting, another very important trope of anime.
You're seeing it a little bit more in Western shows now. I've seen it pop up a few times, but anime really perfected it.
I don't know. There's just something so charming about it, especially when especially when it's more than just stills. Like you'll see Dragon Ball sometimes do it, where it's just some characters doing random stuff, and like there's it completely detached from the story, even if it's out of character for them. It's just like, I don't know. It almost feels like it's the actors just like having fun and doing whatever, like the fictional actors playing those fictional characters.
Right. Reminds me of sort of House of Mouse and how they characterize the Disney characters that way.
Yeah, I would love stuff like that.
Yeah.
House of Mouse basically was like a stand-in for the Muppet Show for a while.
Yep. Yeah.
So, I don't think we talked about Yoko yet.
No, we did not.
Right.
I think she's pretty dang cool.
Yeah, she is
Yeah,
cool,
she's
but
neat.
also remember, she's 14. Zap.
Zap, zap, zippity zap. Quick, go to the time skip.
Yoko, oh no.
Yeah, I think
With a joke like that, like you.
like
My-
is she supposed
my
to
favorite-
be? Is she supposed to be like the same age as Simone?
I think so.
Yeah, I think a justification is that like they measure time differently in Littner.
I see.
So like if you measure it in Jihad time, she'd be closer to Kamina's age.
That works.
Sure, let's go with that.
That works.
She definitely 14-year-olds should not look like that. That's what all I'm gonna say.
Well,
Yeah.
15-year-olds shouldn't look like Jasmine from Aladdin either.
Holy
What are
shit,
they feeding
that's
you?
how you're-
Yeah, like
That's how you're
in the words of
getting-
Cinema Sins, she's too young to look this hot. Ding.
Yep. But yeah, she's still pretty cool. She's the one with the gun, and before Leron and the other ones come around, she's the ideas person.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
but-
I said, she's the take no bullshit kind of person.
Right.
But you know what episode I really liked and I was surprised how much I liked it too. The episode that was focused on what she had been up to for the last year as a teacher.
Oh, that was a great episode.
That's probably one of up there for me. I really like seeing that because getting to see what a non-main character does in the off time, you don't really think about that too much, but you got to see it here, and it added a new dimension.
Exactly.
It was especially nice too because she had been absent for so long, so it was nice to be reintroduced and get caught up, because like she had been like, hey, what like, cause like she came in to save Simone, and we're like, oh my gosh, Yoko, what have you been doing? Well, da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. Long story. Let's start now.
It'll take about 30 minutes to tell.
Right. Yeah, that's a meta joke like you'd hear in SpongeBob.
Mm-hmm.
Why must every 11 minutes of my life be filled with misery?
Yeah.
And we don't get any commercial breaks either.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
But yeah, Yoko's pretty.
you guys reminded me of a joke from Oni Plays where it's like, Chris, who's your favorite Spice? I think Baby Spice is pretty cute, but Chris, she's a baby. Yeah, but if you wait a year.
Yep. That's why we have the time skip.
Yeah. It's okay now.
Right. But still, time skip, another pretty integral detail to longer anime. But for one this short, it makes it feel like there's 2 complete seasons, even though it's technically only 1. So as a storytelling device, it indicates progress and character development.
Indeed.
Now, one thing I was curious about, do you guys prefer the story before the time skip or after the time skip?
Tough call, because the pre-skip had a lot of the fun jokes and the catchphrases, and of course Kamina. But the after one is where you get to see it all come together. I kind of sort of like the before because I felt like it was better paced.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that boat. Also, that was the part that had Kamina, even if it was for only half of it, and it was also before Rosyu became just this kind of heartless hard ass. Like he was my least favorite part of the first half of the time skip.
Yeah, and I am glad that they. Again, like I am glad they gave him that episode that provided perspective, but it did feel partly a little too late, too little too late, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like I don't hate Rosyu. It's just I just wish he'd been more enjoyable.
Yep.
Yep. And to be fair, the second half did when they were all trapped in in the ocean of despair or whatever it was called. It did give us Kamina again, but like 2 versions of him, and one that was a criminal and like tried to like be like, quick, get on your knees and beg. They won't arrest us. It's okay, Simone. Like,
yep. I will probably say though the final ending did feel satisfying because you built up all your robots, so the final climax might as well be the size of a galaxy. That works.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, even though the second arc kind of stumbled and fumbled a bit, it did at least end on a high.
Exactly.
Yeah, I did like the epilogue and what everyone was up to in the 20 or so years since that finale.
Right. So you stayed through the end of the credits.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah, I particularly liked Simone's ending, where he went from being this ultra badass hero to just being, kind of an unknown among the general populace, just kind of living his life, doing his thing, and he's happy with that, and I appreciate endings like that.
Right, you don't want to be famous, you don't want to attract attention, so I liked how he kind of went incognito. That felt pretty nice.
That's a vagabond.
Like you see him teach this little kid how to use a drill, and it looks like it's gonna be this like moment of realization of who this is, but no, he's just drinking out of his coconut without a care in the world.
Right. You don't even see his face at the end. He's still wearing his hood, so it's like he doesn't want to be found.
Exactly.
And I forgot. It has a. I do forget like what exactly everyone was doing. Was Yoko still teaching at that school?
I think she's like the principal or headmistress.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I was about to say, guys, like I know that Yoko is cool, but whatever you do, don't kiss her or you're gonna die in the next episode. We have empirical evidence.
Yep.
By the way, can I just say, I as much as cool as Kamina's sacrifice was, Keaton's felt a little unnecessary. Like, I don't think they really needed to do that.
Yeah. Keaton probably could have survived, and they would have made it out okay.
Yeah, like I feel like that was kind of inevitable. I feel like Simone and Keaton were taking on Kamina's legacy, kind of in different ways. Obviously, you're not going to kill off Simone.
Yeah,
Right.
because at that point they just like were like killing as many people as possible. And it's like, I get it, it's war.
Yeah.
People are gonna die, but with something like this, especially compared to the tone of the first half, it started to get a little bloated.
Yeah. Like, I will say, though, I am glad that they kept Gimme and Derry alive.
Yeah.
I like.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
The
they were just kind of cute little comic relief characters in the first arc, and then after the time skip, their roles are a lot more involved.
Right. It's a common cliche to kill off the comic relief when things get serious, but I'm glad they didn't take that route here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they kept Attenborough alive too. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those two, like the two twins whose names I can't remember. The ones who are always also battle heavy, but more combat.
Valenbo and Jorgen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was sad. I was sad to see them go.
Me too.
Yeah.
But they were the ones who saved the kids, so.
Normally, the trope of twins being clones of each other is a bit weird in animation, but I think it worked here.
We have identical twins in real life. I knew a pair in high school, so
I mean the kind of clone where it's like clear. It's just the design copy and pasted, and they act exactly the same as each other, and they might as well just be the same character.
Like early versions of Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Yes, just like that.
Yeah, because
Right.
in real life, I knew identical twins who were like completely different in just about every way, including their birthdays.
were they born on opposite ends of midnight?
Yeah.
That's sort of
Yeah, one of them was born just before midnight on one day, and the other was born just after midnight on the other day. I was friends with the one born after midnight.
That's pretty cool.
I wonder if parents prefer that over having one birthday on the same day.
I knew a set of twins where only about half a year after they realized that they wanted to name one the other one's name, so they've been calling them the wrong one for 6 months.
It just becomes Fred and George in the first Harry Potter movie, where it's like, he's not George, I'm George, and then he walked over and said, "I was just kidding, I am George."
Yeah.
We have identical twins in the marching band also, and the only way you can tell them apart is that one of them has a very subtle scar over his left eye.
Nice.
Now, speaking of Fred and George, I love that one moment in the 7th movie after they drink the polyjuice potion, and after they turn into Harry, they're just like, "Wow, we're identical."
Yep. But yeah, anything else we want to cover for Gurren Lagann?
I will say the one episode that I wasn't particularly fond of was the beach episode. I think
Every anime has one.
There's got to be at least one.
Even
Right.
Avatar, which isn't strictly an anime, had one.
That's true, but that was as much a character building episode as it was blatant fan service.
I'm glad they
This
showed-
one, not only was it blatant fan service, and it was clearly aware of that. Like we've mentioned before, that the stuff with Yoko, like it's self-aware, and doesn't go too far with it.
Yeah.
I feel like this episode did go a little too far with it. Like, not necessarily in the content, but just how long it lasted. Like, the one thing that got a laugh out of me was a lot of the men on the team complaining that Yoko's swimsuit actually covered up more than what she usually wears.
That's pretty funny. but I kind of agree you didn't need to have half an episode devoted to sexual harassment.
Yeah,
jokes.
it got old really fast, and I was really happy when one of those when one of the Beastmen came, Adien, I think it was.
Right? Yeah. That's nice. That's like the one episode that I kind of cringed a little at, but hey, 1 out of 27's not too bad.
I will give the show credit. They did show restraint when it came to Nia because, like, compared to everyone else, she's like much younger than most of the people there.
And like they see her as like their kid sister that they need to protect.
Yeah, it wasn't so like when she had the swimsuit on, it wasn't like oh look at her. It was more like a sense of, you know what, that works. That totally works for her.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty nice. But you see, this is kind of why I suggested it for the poll, because it has the action stuff, but it balances out with a sense of humor, so at least it's fun. Like, I remember my mom was talking about shows like Lost and how a lot of her friends watch Lost, but that's not exactly a show for casual conversation. That's what a lot of people think anime is like, and there are anime like that, but I just wanted something fun.
Yeah, thank God we didn't go with One Piece.
Right.
Gurren Lagann is definitely a good epitome anime. If for someone who doesn't know what anime is, or like they know that anime is stuff that comes out of Japan, but they don't know about the culture, I feel like Gurren Lagann does a great job of giving you a very good like overall vibe of the kind of stuff you can expect, because it's got the slice of life elements, it's got the action, it's got the power of friendship, the fan service, admittedly, like little, just not as much as other things, just a little bit to get like let you know about what you're getting into with other shows.
That's why I called it a starter anime.
Yeah, and as someone who is new to anime, I think it did a pretty good job, and can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm looking forward to the next time we talk about an anime series.
Yeah,
right. I have some in the pipeline. So.
Yeah, stuff like Death Note or Violet Evergarden or K-On! Would all be good watches.
Right, or even Space Dandy, one of the ones I pitched a while ago. I think Space Dandy's a trigger, so that allowed the same people as this one.
Ooh, okay. How many episodes is that? 26 episodes, so only one less than Gurren Lagann.
And only because of the clip show.
Yeah, right. One other thing, before we wrap this up, one other thing I noticed, I think it was in episode 6, there was a good 5-minute segment that was just a recap of the series to that point.
Oh, yeah.
I think toward the end of that, it showed Viral, and Simone was like, "Who's that?" Kamina's like, "I don't even remember."
Yep.
So good foreshadowing for his reintroduction.
Yeah, and good meta humor also. It's also, like they're talking with the audience.
Also, apparently, there is a bonus episode called My Gurren is Sparkling, and it was exclusive to the Nintendo DS.
Was that the clip show?
No, it was a bonus episode about Simone trying to keep Lagann clean.
Oh, that might be interesting, actually. It's like the greasers who clean their cars.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a movie with Gurren Lagann?
I believe there were 2 movies, and they each recapped the first and second half.
This is customary for anime, where they just clump all the episodes together and call it a movie.
Yeah, they did a similar thing with Puella Madoka Magica.
All right, so like a competent version of Shyamalan's Avatar?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But, by the way, Puella, not a good starter anime. I would not recommend that for people who don't know what anime is.
Madoka Magica, you kind of got to know a little bit more of the tropes, so it comes off a little better. Otherwise, you'll just be confused. Kind of coming on our basis, we ran a little short, but that's because this is like a serialized story, but also really short in itself, so there's not too much you can say about 27 episodes.
True. And, we're approaching the hour mark. I think we're around 55 minutes.
Right.
Overall thought. Gurren Lagann is very much an enjoyable show. Like from the animation and music, its presentation is stellar and showcases some of the best that these artists and animators have to show, and it goes to show why they've been so successful in recent days with Studio Trigger. And the characters are all very, even if it's a little tropey, all the characters are still very fun and fill their roles excellently. Kamina is an excellent support, like, motivator. Simone has excellent character development, and he is not the same person at the end of the show that he was at the beginning, and the time skip helps sell that as well. Yoko and Nia are fun. Like, V-Roll is a fun redemption villain too. And the villains, like the villain in the first half had a surprisingly their motivation actually made a lot of sense,
Right.
which was very surprising to me.
Yeah.
And that kind of comes full circle at the beginning of the time skip.
Yeah, full
Once
circle.
the millionth
'cause
person's
it's all
born.
viral.
And so it was pretty sweet, like when they brought back sort of his mind, like he was able to make up with Nia. Just a very, very good, like we said, perfect gateway anime for people wanting to know about what this culture, what this culture values with anime.
Yeah, it actually makes me interested in other things that anime has to offer, and quite frankly, I think that's the highest praise I could give it.
Which is what a good gateway anime should do. I like this too, and I actually rewatched the whole series, having not seen it since senior year of high school, which was a while ago. So yeah. And it still managed to make me laugh. It still managed to get me invested, and I picked up on things I missed the first time, having seen it almost a decade ago.
Yeah, I'd say that overall this is a solid 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yep. I don't know if we can isolate particular episodes from this, but I would say Teacher Yoko is the one I found myself going back to the most.
Yeah, that's the one I found liking the most as well.
Yeah.
We did mention the Eat Up Everyone one was a funny episode, but I will head towards tomorrow. If the show had ended at that, which was basically, I guess you could consider the mid-season break. If the show had ended there, I honestly think that wouldn't be such a bad ending if it just ended with just them defeating the Spiral King. I'm glad they went past it, but still, it was a very satisfying conclusion of that particular fight.
Right, you had to see how the society progressed afterwards. You had to get some sort of aftermath, but overall, as a mid-season finale, as a midpoint, yeah, it works. Well, I'm glad this served as a good education for you guys.
Yeah,
and me too.
I look forward to sharing more anime with everybody.
Right, anime. But as for the next one, I'm thinking not doing that anime. I think we're just gonna bypass the poll and do My Little Pony.
It feels a bit overdue at this point.
Yeah.
Right, we've been building it up for a while, and recent circumstances have led us to back in the direction of that show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh, by the time once we get to it, I definitely need to hopefully I'll have posted my reaction to the new movie by then that I did with a couple friends.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
Right. Well, this has been Cartoon Chatbox. I'm glad to see you all again.
Okay. Yeah, ditto. And thank you all for joining us.
Yep.
I'm Carrick Hamnet.
I am Irish Husky. And we will see you next time.
Yeah.
Hopefully with a more coordinated outro.
All right, take care, everybody.
And maybe the mic troubles will be fixed.
Oh, but hey, my internet didn't cut out at all.
Impossible.